Shimboni on Mind, Body and Soul, Technique on the Run, a clean green energy solution, and going walkabout for bush remedies. But first, open yourself up to osteopathy. Welcome to the British School of Osteopathy. Students from all over the UK come here to learn this holistic healing technique. To the uninitiated, osteopathy may seem like glorified physiotherapy, but actually it operates on an entirely different philosophy. Its founder, Andrew Taylor, devised osteopathy a little over 100 years ago as a way to stimulate self-healing in the body. Disillusioned with Western medicine, which treats localized symptoms, Mr. Taylor couldn't help but see the human body as a whole. He noticed that if some part of the skeleton or muscular system was out of alignment, it had the ability to create illness in other parts of the body, such as the soft organs, and could even affect emotional states. By correcting the framework of the body via manipulation, the body began to function clearly, and the illnesses disappeared. Manipulation techniques used by osteopaths include massage and palpitation. Muscles are relaxed to encourage fluid circulation around the body. Nutrients and oxygen are taken to where they're needed. Clogged waste products are drained away. Varying degrees of touch are used. This student is studying a range of movement in the spine. Carefully targeted downward thrusts are used to free up the vertebrae. Sometimes joint flexing may be employed. Close attention is paid to the painful area, but the whole body is examined for imbalances that may be causing the pain or resulting from it in some way. All manner of problems may be treated by an osteopath, from headache, ringing in the ears, and painful sinuses, to sciatica, back pain and gynecological problems. Even digestive problems can be tackled by correcting the framework of the body. About 5 million people a year visit an osteopath in the UK. Due to the increasing demand for the discipline, the government wants to ensure stringent training. These students will be at the college for 4 years full-time. They learn everything a medical doctor learns, except of course with a focus on holistic diagnosis. In the US, osteopaths are considered medical doctors in their own right. But here in the UK, they are not afforded that status, as they are not allowed to prescribe drugs to patients. The British School of Osteopathy is also doing its bit for the community. There are special healing programs for kids with behavioural disorders and elderly people prone to illness. Working on rib mechanics in the elderly can help promote better breathing and reduce the risk of chest infection. The number of people seeking alternative therapies is on the rise all over the world. It's nice to know that governments are acknowledging this and are going to great efforts to ensure that underqualified quacks won't even get a look in.
Thank you very much.
There's no finer way to tone up your legs, butt and calves while shedding pounds at the same time than by purely and simply running. Elle Macpherson, dubbed the body of her generation, kept her model fitness by pounding the pavement. No machines, no class fees, just you and the challenge of the open road or countryside. Sounds ideal, doesn't it? So why has running got such a bad rap as a regular activity? Well, many people don't quite know how to run properly, unfortunately putting their joints, particularly the knee joint, at great risk. There are a few key things to look out for when you take to the pavement. According to English exercise physiologist Mark Holroyd, good running technique is essential for economy of movement, thus energy, and the elimination of injury. It's interesting to note that when we walk, our feet are only taking the impact of half our body weight. However, when we run, because we're lifting both feet off the ground at the same time, the impact when we land is a massive 3 times our own body weight. This puts pressure on the delicate tendon that joins the dainty knee bone to a variety of great hulking thigh muscles. This is a lot of work for a little tendon. Start your running regime off really slowly. Short distances are best at first. then gradually increase the distance and pace over time. Your little tendon will gradually get stronger as the impact of your body with the Earth's gravity encourages it to lay down more calcium at the join between it and your knee bone. But this takes about 3 months to achieve, so don't overdo it. Once your knees go, they're really hard to get back into condition. So what does good running technique entail? According to Mark, you ought to be tall and relaxed when you run. Your head should be erect and eyes focused 20 to 30 meters ahead of you on the ground. Your shoulders and hips should be level and square. And swaying from side to side or swinging backwards and forwards is wasted motion, thus a waste of energy. Make sure your feet are pointing straight ahead and that they land directly under your hips. Your arms should make a 90-degree angle to the ground and loosely move in a figure-8 motion. And last but not least, it's really important to breathe. Keeping tall and relaxed will give your diaphragm the space to do just that. Researchers at Adidas have realized the importance of good posture to running performance. Over the last 4 years, they've developed the 4Motion suit, a suit specially designed to help hold the runner's muscular system correctly in place over the skeletal system. The suit compresses certain areas, such as the muscles of the lower thigh, and links the pressure back up through the abdominals. 5 world-class athletes tested the suits at the Olympic trials and found them beneficial, saying it helped them to run in a more upward motion and aided the lifting of the knees during performance. Running your way to fitness need not be a knee-busting affair. Just a little body awareness and good technique, and the patience to take it slow, are the main ingredients to a pain-free jog.
Go!
You've heard of Mozart therapy curing your hearing and honing your concentration. Now Mozart and Beethoven are coming together to give you a tastier stir-fry. A soy sauce brewery in Western Japan has discovered the secret to a richer brew. Not only has it abandoned automation and moved to genetically unmodified soybeans, but now it uses classical music to develop its sauce. And what do the soy sauce eating public think of these strange antics? Well, it seems this soy sauce company is laughing all the way to the bank. Other soy sauce companies floundered in Japan's last recession, but for this one, profits took on a sweeter note. They doubled their money. So how could classical music possibly aid the fermentation process? According to the manufacturer, the vibrations from certain kinds of music are reverberated through earthenware pots containing the ingredients. Only classical orchestrations will do. Heavy metal and rock are apparently not effective. So far, the classical vibes seem to have worked wonders on the soy sauce, making it richer. The director of the company got the idea by watching cicadas in the summertime perched on top of rice wine pots. He realized it was the cicadas that made the rice wine full-bodied. Soy sauce shares the same fermentation process as rice wine. The director thought placing cicadas on his soy sauce vats might be a logistical nightmare, so he reasoned that classical music would have similar beneficial vibrations that would be easier to tap into. Now the most important ingredient in Japanese cooking has something to sing about. In a small town in Chile, health officials are undertaking a major experiment. What happens when Western Orthodox medicine and traditional Mapuche healing walk together hand in hand? Blending Western medicine and herbal medicine in this intercultural context is already being hailed a success in this South American town. And it's been going strong since 1999. The building housing the experiment is a simple thatched affair. Anything to make the Mapuche feel more comfortable about visiting a hospital. The Mapuche feel fearful of Western culture, many linking it to their illnesses and the downfall and pollution of their environment. Many Mapuche have been locked in battles with large multinational corporations, and perhaps their hesitancy to trust the West stems from these conflicts. The Mapuche see themselves as playing a vital role in keeping the earth balanced, and anything that upsets this balance is seen as a cause of illness. The traditional Mapuche approach to medicine is holistic. The individual is treated in relation to the family, the community, and the environment. They are even responsible for growing the herbs used in the remedies. A patient is asked questions about family life, the state of his crops, and other lifestyle details to assess the underlying cause of the illness. The Western method is based on looking at the visible symptoms. At the clinic, the patients have the power to choose the style of medicine they'd prefer. In keeping with the Mapuche tradition, family members are encouraged to come to the consultation, or even stay at the hospital with their sick loved one. If the traditional healer, the machi, is sought, he may be asked by the patient for advice on life, and maybe even a fortune reading. Mapuche traditional medicine has stood the test of time for over 12,000 years, and the people still number a healthy 1.5 million. After a hard day's healing, the machi heads home in his cart. The best things in life never change. Could hydrogen be the fume-free fuel of the future? Up until now, it has been rather an expensive option, but the key to keeping it cheap may all lay in a little ray of sunshine. Scientists have figured out a way to harvest hydrogen from water using solar energy. The race is on to find alternative sources of non-fossil fuel-dependent energy, with these polluting substances expected to run out in the not-too-distant future. It has cost scientists a mere $3 million to unlock the molecular secrets of releasing hydrogen from water this way. A small price to pay given the gravity of the Earth's current energy dilemma. The solar tower is the unique invention that allows a massive harvest of solar energy to take place. Mirrors are angled to focus the sun's rays at the tower. The concentrated light reaches 1200 degrees Celsius and is directed into a reaction chamber. Powdered zinc oxide is added. Charcoal is then mixed in.
Already 474 degrees C, and we need another 400 degrees to start the reaction.
The raw ingredients are cooked by the solar energy, producing pure zinc metal. This is the key ingredient in extracting hydrogen from water. The zinc is piped into a lab and mixed with steam water. The chemical reaction produces zinc oxide and hydrogen, the latter being used for fuel. Normally, it takes twice as much energy to separate hydrogen from water. But this method saves time, energy, and dollars. The good news is there is no toxic waste in producing this kind of energy. Zinc oxide turns to zinc and then straight back to zinc oxide again. The only byproduct is water, and we all know the world needs a lot more of that. It's 5:30 a.m. on a Monday morning. Rise and shine! It's time to hit the sand for a grueling workout. Drop and give me 50 push-ups. Duet, duet, duet! Sounds like a nightmare start to the working week, but exercise classes under military instruction are fast becoming de rigueur on Australia's Bondi Beach. Go hard or go home seems to be the motto. Late arrivals and those with a grotty kit receive due punishment. 50 push-ups or an involuntary dip in the surf are doled out for minor misdemeanours. How's that for instant motivation? Oh, and by the way, your instructor's name is Sir. That is when you're not referring to him as Corporal, Sergeant or Chief. Military boot camps are becoming popular here and in the US. First Fitness is run by instructors who've had real military training with the Australian Armed Forces. This course is based on the US military's basic training program for new recruits. If you find boredom a battle at the gym, this regime may be for you. Military exercises such as run and cover and baffle PT add a mental element to exercising, keeping everyone on their toes. Mock search and rescue missions and other military simulations make early mornings a downright challenge. Do you have to be a glutton for punishment to enjoy these classes? Well, it definitely helps. Participants are of the opinion that being barked at by the boss is a refreshing and motivating experience. But perhaps the real motivating factor is First Fitness's ability to trim you down via your inner fitness freak in a relatively short period of time. A definite bonus for a country whose population is fattening up fast. Over 50% of people in Australia are either overweight or obese. So if you'd like to let go of your love handles and beat the bulge, military-style boot camp may be just the strategy you're looking for. Drop and give me 50. Imagine if a trip to the chemist meant a lovely stroll in the sunshine outdoors, amongst the myriad of flowers and plants nature has to offer. Well, that's how it's been for the Australian Aboriginals for the past 50,000 years. Unfortunately, this wonderful bush medicine knowledge is swiftly being forgotten. Researchers from a Sydney university are hoping to catch all the facts before they disappear into the land time forgot. Aboriginal elders like Vincent Forrester walk around with the knowledge in their heads. Vincent is full of practical handy hints like how to get rid of warts with the spikes of the dead Finnish bush. Ironically, this plant is also used to make a tasty flatbread. Vincent is proud of his natural supermarket. He's quick to point out that it's the elder women of the community that hold most of the healing knowledge regarding plants. But as the knowledge is dying out, Vincent wants it documented and protected so that it can't be cashed in on by just anyone.
Well, when you look around the desert park, you walk around in the bush, you have a look at all the pretty flowers, but those pretty flowers, that's our supermarket, that's our pharmacy all wrapped up in one. That information is taught from the grandmother down to the grandchildren. She is the person who has the knowledge of all these plants and all that you will see around in the bush there. They are the keepers of the intellectual property.
Vincent and his people have been burned many times before, with people publishing their knowledge without permission. Regina Medhurst, a desert horticulturalist, says that there are thousands of medicinal Australian plants that the scientific community doesn't know about. She's busy trying to find some plants that the wider Australian community might like to have in their gardens across the country.
Aboriginal people have known about lots of different plants, lots of ones that we still don't know about, but we're yet to find a lot of them and what they're good for. So here at the park we go out and look for different types of plants that might be useful to people in their gardens. But Aboriginal people have had this knowledge for tens of thousands of years, so for them it's nothing new.
The Macquarie University started documenting the medicinal qualities of the plants 3 years ago with the help of the elders, with a view to protecting the Aboriginal intellectual property rights. This has made them the talk of the scientific community.
This is regarded as a very important issue because this knowledge is being lost, and it's being lost in part, unfortunately, because elderly members of the communities that have this information are dying, and also because communities, social changes are actually undergoing dislocations. So there's actually a real need by the communities to have this information documented for its preservation, for its cultural purposes.
They are now concentrating on those plants that the elders point out as being the most potent. Leafless ballart is a well-known favourite, but many unidentified specimens are popping up too. This plant will keep you regular, and how many natural laxatives do you know smell like chocolate? And here's a novel idea: why not use an itchy grub's nest as a bandage for burns? Very effective according to the Yagul community. The researchers hope to find the cures to many illnesses by studying Aussie bush medicine. And they want to make sure that the Yagul community is duly credited. But it's a race against time for scientists. Cultural dislocation is making it hard for tribal elders to pass on their knowledge to the young. Let's hope that the researchers run like the wind in pursuit of the facts before the sun sets on this ancient tribal law forever. Aromatherapy has finally taken a leap into the risque. No longer confined to the realms of headaches, relaxation and colds and flu, now with the help of aromatherapy, you can follow your nose to a better relationship. The aphrodisiac patch is said to have you ready and raring to go. But this time there is one vital difference. Not since chocolate has an aphrodisiac been aimed at women. And why not? A recent American study revealed that 35% of women have low libidos or are sexually dysfunctional. So step aside Viagra, aromatherapy is coming through. Invented by businesswoman Liz Paul, the patch is almost invisible and is impregnated with hundreds of aromatherapeutic molecules that mimic the effect of the brain chemical dopamine, the chemical responsible for making you feel sexy. It works from the very first sniff and apparently reaches its peak at around the 2-week mark. Liz would never have done it without the help of human sense of smell and sexual desire expert Dr. George Dodds. Dr. Dodds had spent time researching how molecules move about in the brain, and to his surprise, found that some of them went to areas and fulfilled the functions of brain chemicals themselves. The good thing about the molecules in the aphrodisiac patch is that they don't enter the bloodstream, and there are no negative side effects. Some people are of the opinion that the smell patches are all in the mind, and that the biological effect they produce is really only psychosomatic. But real or unreal, ladies sitting at home in front of the TV on a Friday night doesn't have a patch on this. Join us again on Mind, Body and Soul as we discover more paths to health and happiness. But for now, Dominique gives us some food for thought.
Live your life with an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude, or grace, is one of the 4 pillars of healing. Remember that regardless of the size of the obstacle that you're facing, regardless of how dark the clouds may seem, you can always find something in your life to be grateful for. It's your choice. You can look at the challenges and feel victimized, feel weighed down, feeling small, or you can look at everything that is working, be grateful for that, and allow that to be a gateway for greater abundance, greater blessings to flow into your life.